What I want to know is, what is the first word or concept or idea that comes to mind when I say Africa? What is the first thing that pops into your head? I say Africa and you think, oh, tons of hands, wow. Yeah. Is that what you said?
Not as wealthy.
Not as wealthy? Okay, great. Okay, go ahead.
Like slums.
Slum, okay. Great, go for it.
War.
Sorry?
War.
War, okay. Yeah, right here. Let's start in the corner.
Limited resources.
Limited resources, is that what you said? Okay, great, okay. And then, yeah.
Less technologically advanced.
Excellent. Yeah, you got another one. Witchcraft, okay. Things we've been studying in school. Great, okay. I was just here in Kenya. I was working with a group of high school students down in Mombasa, which is a city on the coast of Kenya there. And I was teaching them photography and doing cool stuff like that. But we also had them make a list of what words come to mind when they think of Africa. But so their list of Africa: growth, rich in resources, colorful beads, wildlife, historical sites, potential, security, culture, diversity, safari parks, gratitude, dramatized, togetherness. A little bit different from the list you guys had, right? In March of 2012, Austin and I were traveling with a Pulitzer Center grant and working on this story about Ivory Coast's sort of post-conflict situation.
We were taking pictures and interviewing refugees and victims of war crimes.
At the same time, we were seeing all these sort of familiar, very sort of normal daily life moments, and they didn't really fit into the story that we were trying to tell.
We started pulling our cell phones out of our pockets and began taking pictures of what we saw, the everyday things that we saw. Thanks to the Pulitzer Center, we've been able to go to schools in Chicago, in Washington, D.C., and elsewhere, and teach kids how to think about truth in storytelling.
These are the first pictures that were on Everyday Africa, but it's grown in the 3 years since then. We've got about 30 photographers. Most of them at this point are African. And they live in all different parts of the continent and are just sort of posting daily life photos. So this morning we had a Skype call between the students in Mombasa and the students here in Chicago. But I bet it doesn't work.
Hi, my name is Yasmin, and so I just found this man who was sitting in the middle of the pavement. He looked really cool. I asked him if I could take a picture, and yeah, he just sat there.
The other day I showed people this picture in this class, and they were like, "So is that normally where people sit?" What do you think?
We have chairs. I know we have chairs. He just wanted to sit outside. He was obviously on work break. He wanted to sit outside.
So the project has been a lot about, not just confronting how we see Africa, but also about encouraging people to, look at the stereotypes that affect their own community, their own lives, and encourage them to get involved in a sort of localized storytelling.
The project I'm interested in is taking picture of dog owners and then dogs, and then see like how they're treated. Because I was in Africa, and then dogs weren't really like us pets. They were kind of like dangerous. It's really different, like in Africa compared here. Here they're like treated like people.
When we explained to them the purpose of this project, like they were praising us for it, and it was really nice. They also want everybody else, the Western world, to know that Mombasa is very peaceful.
I wanted to ask you, when you went out to take pictures, did anyone refuse?
Yes, a lot of people refused.
Thank you.
They gave me good insight into the game. So they talked about a lot about the family zoo. That's the 1,000 words came from their mouths.
After our first lesson, we decided that we didn't want this just to be a one-time thing, that the learning was so powerful, and even though the kids' perspective visibly changes after just 40 minutes with the journalists, we wanted to keep that going.
We did our own version of Everyday Africa here at Jack London Middle School. We did Everyday Suburbia, and we sort of looked at how photojournalism and how strong are those pictures impacting how we think about a region.
How do you differentiate between just a picture of a person and a picture of something that has a deeper connection to the thing? Because that's kind of hard to know.
Yeah. Wow. That's a tough question.
This is a program that gets them to start generating those questions as opposed to a teacher.
And so they will then know what to ask when they're alone watching TV or reading the newspaper or going into a voting booth. And they will be much more responsible citizens as a result.
Students are going to interact on a global scale in ways that we can't even imagine yet. So it's very important for them to understand cultural differences, but also similarities.
Fly.
It's going to help these students navigate their world.